All right, Rock Addicts, this is DJ Rem, and I have Greg from BOYCE on the line. How you doing, brother?
Oh man, I'm doing great. How you doing?
Not too bad. So, why don't you tell me about this, this current album you have, and the fact that you do this all by yourself. I think this is pretty darn cool.
Yeah. I'm a multi-instrumentalist, so I'm able to play all the instruments myself. And boy, I'm into all kinds of different kinds of music. So I actually have different albums out. I have like acoustic rock albums out and jazz fusion stuff. But I'm a metalhead at heart. I just love hard rock, heavy metal. Always have. And I'm just kind of surprised that I didn't start with a metal album, but I figured, well, now's the time. Better late than never. So
Right.
Went back to my metal roots and got in the studio and had a lot of ideas, and they just flowed out. I'm really happy with the album. It came out pretty much how I heard it in my head, so I'm really happy with it.
So, how long have you been doing this all together then?
Boy, all my life. I have pictures of me as like a little 4-year-old with a drum and with guitars, and I think early on whether you can play or not. Your parents will give you like a guitar when you're 4, and then they look at you and it's like, whoa, he can play it. It just happens. So ever since, I started in bands when I was about 12. Started performing live around that age, and just been doing it ever since. And the one thing that I ended up having a problem is being able to play every instrument. You kind of want to do it. When I was in bands playing drums, I wanted to play guitar, and when I was in bands playing guitar, I wanted to play drums. It's just really tough, to get one instrument, But so I've been just doing it myself for the last few years, and the albums have been coming out okay. But this metal one I'm really happy with, and this is the one that I'm really proud of and pushing it, and it's great. And I have to thank you, for getting some of the songs on the air. It's fantastic. It's helping me out greatly, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's not a problem. When I heard your stuff, I was like, this guy needs to be on the air, not sitting there. So yeah, definitely.
Very cool. That's awesome.
That's my big thing is I go out and I look for bands that I like and I enjoy to listen to, and then I'm like, looking for bands that the world I think needs to hear. So you were one of those bands. I'm like, the world needs to hear this guy. So
awesome. That's great, and that's what music is all about. For me, at least, is making music that I like, but also, that strikes a nerve with somebody, that touches somebody. They hear it and they go, "Wow, I dig that. That's different. That's cool." And so I'm glad that you liked it. I'm glad that you heard something in it that I strive to put into it. You're hearing what I want you to hear. And what comes from me, it's making an impact. So that's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's very cool. And I know Renee plays your songs like every show. So she's and I know you've talked to her already as well.
Yeah, she's great. She's fun.
But we're definitely all at Rock Addict Radio. We're all big fans of you. So
that's awesome. That's great. That's really cool to hear. And every once in a while, I like to go into the chat room and hang out and see what's going on in there.
Yeah, I tell you what, nothing makes us as DJs feel better when we're playing a band's music and they pop in, or they pop in and we play their music. I mean, that is like the best feeling for us.
Yeah, it's fun to get together with a bunch of metalheads and talk music and joke around in there. It's great. It's a fun place to be.
Yeah. And, I also, if you wouldn't mind sending me some, I would also be very interested to hear some of your other stuff, because I have a very wide range of musical tastes. So
very cool. I definitely will. Yeah, we'll talk off the air or whatever, and I'll get you some, give me your information. I'll get some stuff out to you.
Okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned recording this album. What studio did you use to record at?
Yeah, if I could give them a little plug. I went around to different recording studios because I've done albums in the acoustic realm, and I needed a place that would be good for that, and I did jazz fusion stuff. But I knew those studios wouldn't work for this album. I went around to different studios and just took the same song and went to 3 different studios, and when I left this studio, which is a little studio in Roseville called River City Recording, it blew me away. They just sent me home with a little demo to listen to of my own stuff, and I put it in, and I was like, that's exactly how I want my album to sound. I knew this was the one, and I was just so happy because I was really ambitious on this album. I wanted everything. I wanted the whole kitchen sink thrown at every song. I wanted acoustic guitars, flamenco, right in the middle of heavy metal stuff, and I wanted changes, and I wanted a studio that could really capture that. So I was really happy when I found them, and they were only 5 minutes away from my work. So that worked out really well. I'd get off work, head to the studio, do some stuff, and then head home. It was great. I loved it.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So, being that you play all the instruments, how long did it take you to record the album?
It took well over a year. I'd say about a month and a half on each song, and really just being meticulous and from every note. I wanted every note to sound good. I wanted everything heard. I don't want the bass to be buried in there. I want people to hear it, and I don't want the drums to be buried. I want every instrument to have its own space. So not only spending time on the songs themselves, but spending time on the song itself. And I'm really proud of the way it came out. But yeah, it was a time-consuming thing because I'd put down the guitars, and then I'd drum to it, and then I'd go to sing to it, and I'd be like, oh man, I wish I would have wrote it differently. So I would change it. I'd go back in and change the song. And that's one thing about being a one-man band is you don't hear the song until it's finished recording. It's not like a band where you can rehearse it over and over and over.
Right.
You know exactly what it's going to sound like as a band when you go in the studio. But with me, I'm kind of writing it as I'm going, so when I hear it back, it's like, oh, that's perfect. Or, oh, I got to change that whole thing. So it was time-consuming. But, I've talked to people and said, this album took me well over a year. And I've had bands, and say, oh, man, it took us longer than that, and, we're 5 guys. So, it just all depends. But that's how long it took. And, yeah, it worked out.
Right. Well, the nice thing, too, is, with it just being you don't have anybody to argue with.
That's a good thing, too. I was telling you that I like to put, I'll be right in the middle of a heavy metal song, and I'll think, what would surprise the listener right now? How about a little flamenco guitar break right in the middle? And if I had a band, there's a good chance that, the drummer might go, dude, that's going to suck, no, let's not do that, So, yeah, I don't have to argue too much with myself, even though I do.
Right, yep.
But yeah, I've got a lot of freedom there, so I can throw some weird stuff in there if I feel like it.
So you mentioned, that you started playing instruments and music from a very early age. Did you have somebody in your family that kind of influenced you that was also musically talented?
Yeah, my grandfather, he was a multi-instrumentalist as well, although he was more into like the horns. He could play saxophone and trumpet and clarinet and trombone, but he could play piano, and he had bass guitars and guitars and stuff. So as a little kid, I would take my bike and ride over to his house, and he had a little recording studio, and I'd make little crappy songs, but I was really young, and it was fun, and so yeah, he was probably my biggest influence as far as like a relative. But I came from a very musical family too. My mom's side, which is an Hispanic family, they would always get together with acoustic guitars and sing and harmonize and all in Spanish. I couldn't understand what they were saying. It sounded beautiful, but
right.
So I've got a little of all of that in me, So everything that I hear pretty much influences me anyway if I like it.
Right. Well, that's very cool, and that's some great memories that you'll always have. That's awesome.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
So, what kind of besides all that for influences, what kind of bands did you grow up listening to that made you that really were like, what, I can do that?
I think early on, the heavy sound hit me hard. When I was young, my parents would play like Santana and Elton John and all kinds of stuff in their stereos, and I liked it. But it was what I heard, like Queen and AC/DC and stuff like that. I was like, whoa, now that is cool. And I started getting into Iron Maiden as a kid, Judas Priest, Scorpions, all the big names like that. And then went to go see them live. I was like 13, 14 years old, seeing some of these bands live, and it was like, wow, that's what I want to do. I want to play guitar like that. I want to play drums like that. But I wish I could sing like that. That's a big thing. Yeah, just those early bands just really influenced me. And I like some of the new bands that are out today too, but I'm still kind of a classic guy. I still like that old kind of sound. I like melody in my music. I don't want it to be just all screaming, and which can be great too. But It just doesn't seem to be me, you know.
No, I totally get that. Like when I'll be doing a show, I'll go through ruts. Like part of the show will be all screaming, and the next will be like acoustic stuff, and it just depends on the mood you're in.
Yeah, exactly. It does. It really does. That the first song on the album, and it's a song you guys play. It's called "News to the World," and it's one of the more aggressive on the album. And I figured, well, I'm going to sing this one really aggressively. I'm going to put a lot of gravel in my voice, and then I hear it back, and it's like, well, it doesn't sound very gravelly. It doesn't sound very aggressive, but it's just me. You can only do what you can do. So
right.
That's about as heavy as you're going to hear my voice. If I go any heavier, I'll end up coughing my brains out, coughing up a lung or something. I don't know how those guys can do it with those guttural screams, like that. But
For like a 2-hour show.
Yeah, I can't even do it for a minute, But those guys are insane. But very cool.
Yep. That's the beauty of music. There's so many different styles.
Oh, there is, and that's one of the great things about doing an album on my own like this and having such a wide, varied interest in music is I really could throw different kinds of styles of music. And my album is kind of on the progressive side, I think. And in that genre of progressive metal, you can kind of do anything. You can kind of get away with stuff that you couldn't do if you were just like mainstream, So that was fun to have that kind of freedom.
Yeah, very cool. And then, obviously you probably went through a process to determine a name for yourself, and obviously you went with your last name. How did you decide to do that?
Really because I couldn't think of anything else. When I was younger, I had a band called Black Onyx, and that was a cool name, and I thought about using that moniker, but I thought, no, that wouldn't be fair to the guys that were in that band, and just to kind of take that moniker for myself. And I figured, Gregory Boyce. Boyce doesn't sound that bad. I'll do that. It's different in itself, and so I figured it was kind of the perfect name for the album. It kind of worked.
Yeah, I like it because when I was looking at the tunes, I'm like, because I saw the name of the band was Boyce, and I'm like, then I saw your name, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Van Halen thing.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool, dude.
That's cool.
So what is okay? So you got the album out. So what else is going on with you right now? What do you have in the works?
Well, actually, I'm getting ready to go back into the studio to do some songs. I get inspired by different things, and I have to write, and I love to hear what these songs in my head sound like when I actually put them down. So I'm getting ready to go back in, but it'll probably be closer to winter when I finally release some new stuff. But you guys will be like the first to know. And when I get some stuff out there, I'll give you a call and get it to you guys. Right now, I'm just kind of pushing the album. I've got a video out there for News to the World, which people like because they see that it's all me, doing everything. But I actually fooled some people. I started off doing the video with a beard. I had the drummer have a beard, and then for every guitar player, I shave a little bit, so I had a goatee, and then down to like a little soul patch kind of thing, and then clean shaven. So some people were like, "Is that the same guy, or are they brothers or something?" And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of fun to do, but so I did the video out there. That's a good way to promote the album. But as far as promotion, being a one-man band, I can't go out there and play live. I'd have to get a bunch of musicians together that we all got along and work the material. And I just don't know if I've got that in me right now. So right now I'm just getting on the radio, which you guys are helping me out a great deal, which is fantastic, and pushing the video and just testing the waters, see what people think of it. And so far, the reception's been really good. I think people really like it. It's different. There's something out there for everyone on this album.
Right. You ever thought about doing like some sort of like acoustic sets or something?
Yeah. I do have acoustic material, so I'm familiar with that. But I think with heavy metal, you really got to just turn up the guitars and crank it up and get out there, and I think that's what people want to see, live.
Right.
Going crazy. I don't know if the album would go over well acoustically. I mean, there's acoustic parts on it, but I just think you got to take the guitars out there, turn them up to 10, and kick some butt out there. I don't know if the music would translate, but hey, you never know. People do the the unplugged thing all the time.
Yeah, I've seen some acoustic stuff that you're like, oh, and it sounds good. It's like in the back of your mind, you're going, I would never have thought that sounded good acoustic.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So that's something to think about. It's a good idea. You put it in my head. I'm going to write that down.
That's right. Write that down.
Yeah, writing that down. Cool. It could be a Rock Addict radio exclusive.
That'd be cool. Have you like live on the air doing an acoustic? That'd be cool.
That'd be very cool. That's awesome.
Okay, so if I grabbed your iPod or your MP3 player, however you listen to music, what would I find you listening to today? What bands would I find you listening to?
I'd probably be all over the board, which I am. Right now, I think in my car, I've got the new Van Halen album out, and just getting into that. Kind of cool to hear David Lee Roth back in Van Halen. The album's pretty good. I've also got a new band. Well, not new. I don't know if you've ever heard of a band called Riot.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, they've got their reunion lineup out right now, and the album's really cool, real heavy. I like that. I like all kinds of stuff. I mean, I listen to like Mr. Big, and I listen to Disturbed, and I like everything. Yeah, you'd be listening to a lot of different stuff.
Very cool. Well, and I totally relate because you would find a very eclectic taste on mine. So
yeah, and I think that's good. I think it's great to love a kind of music, but it's also good to understand talent and stuff and hear it in other styles of music too. It gives you a wider variety of listening.
Yeah. So obviously the whole record industry and the whole music industry as a whole has totally changed in the last 10, 15, 25,
Yeah, you're right. It's
just really constantly changing. What are your views on everything and just the changes and everything that's happened?
Well, I remember a while back they were saying that, pretty soon CDs will be gone. People won't even know what a CD is, but I don't think that's going to happen as fast as they thought it would. I think people still like to have that packaging. I like to go through and look at the lyrics and see if there's pictures and look at the artwork and stuff like that. That still means something, I think. And people thought that it would get lost on the kids today, that they just would like to just download songs. But from what I see, they still like the artwork too. They want to see the cool picture and a picture of the band and lyrics and stuff like that. So I think the CDs will be around for a while. I know it's a lot tougher to make money on CDs these days and full albums. I think for bands, they really need to go out there and play live and do that to make a go of it, But it's kind of getting back to going out there and working and doing the shows and hitting the clubs and stuff like that. So it can be a lot of work, but hey, if you hit it, you hit it. So it'll be worth it.
It's almost like everything else, It starts out slow, and then there's like a big boom, and then the boom crashes, kind of like our economy, and then things start all over,
Yeah, I think it's kind of gone back to that, and you're seeing a lot of bands hitting the road and playing the clubs and doing it again. So that's a good thing, get music out there, and I think it'll all kind of come back. I'm hoping the economy comes back, right along with the record industry.
Yep, me too. Well, another thing I've noticed, it seems like vinyl's coming back too, so that's pretty cool.
Exactly, yeah, you're getting that too. I know that a lot of bands who are putting albums out are actually putting limited edition vinyl out there, which is very cool, that nostalgia element's coming back, and things come around, That's very cool.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you ever heard of the band Vor, but they just released their album on vinyl, and it's like yellow or something. It's really crazy. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. And you can do like the picture disc.
Yep.
And the whole album is this picture, and that's very cool. You can do a lot of stuff with that.
So, what are your goals for yourself for the next couple of years? Where do you hope to be with all this?
Just to get the name out there. Just to, I love to make music. I've been making music for years and years and years, and no one's ever heard it. Most of these CDs that I did back in the day, I still have boxes of them in closets and stuff. So, I thought, with this new album that I did, I was really proud of it. And I'm like, I want people to hear this. I think that it's good enough. I think that it it can be in there with what people listen to. So it's getting good feedback, and that's really all that I want. If it makes money, that's great, and I'm not really looking for fame or anything like that. I just like people to hear what I've got to offer. So that's kind of my goal. It's just to get it into as many ears as possible. So.
Well, that's an excellent goal, and obviously it shows that you have passion, because that's what it's about for you.
Yeah, that is what it's all about. It's all about the music and seeing if it connects with someone, seeing if someone appreciates it. And, that is what it's all about out there.
So to help with that, where can people go to find out more about you? Where can people go to buy the album? I mean, where can people go to help support you?
Well, I hit all the usual suspects. I made sure that I was available on Amazon and iTunes, Spotify. I think I'm on MySpace, and BOYCE has its own Facebook page, and I have the website, which is boycemusic.com, and that'll take you to a lot of the places that it's available. I try to just get it out there as much as possible. So.
Very good. And do you have any merchandise for sale?
No, not at this moment, but I'm starting to get people saying, "Hey, that's a cool logo. Let's see it on a T-shirt."
Right.
So I'm thinking, yeah, why not? So pretty soon I'll maybe get some T-shirts out there and get those available. The guy who filmed the video for me on News to the World actually made my logo, the BOYCE logo, and he did a really good job with it. So I'm sure he'd be happy to get a shirt with it on it. So.
Yeah, I think having people wearing shirts with your logo and your name on it, and then they wear it to other concerts, that's a good way that's easy, free promotion.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. It's a really good idea, and I probably should have done it a long time ago, but better late than never. I'll get on that. So I'll write that down too. I got things to write down here. But that'll be cool.
So in the past, have you ever been in? You kind of mentioned maybe in a past band. So have you been in the past, like in bands where you've done live shows and such?
Yeah. When I was about 12, I had a band called the Nightmares, and we were Nightmares too. We were just little punk kids running around, but we weren't bad. We were okay. And I was on guitar and lead vocals in that band. And then from then on, I ended up being a drummer in just about every other band that I joined, and somehow I always ended up doing the vocals too. But I was in punk bands, metal bands. In the punk band, my hair was blue.
Nice.
I've done all kinds of crazy things. I started getting away from the scene. It's a tough scene out there, the travel and late nights. And for bands who are out there plugging away and doing it, man, I salute them, because it's not easy. It's a tough road. But I stopped doing it, and I think because I could play everything, I could go in the studio and record an album myself. So.
Right.
But to do it again, every time I go to a concert, I come away with that itch to do it again. I always want to get back up there. I would love to just run up there and play guitar with them for a while, or play drums. But I do get that itch every once in a while. And who knows, maybe one day I will put that band together and get out there and do it again. That would be fun.
Right. And the real reason I ask that question is because I'm always curious what crazy things have happened to you at a live show.
Boy, as far as crazy things that have happened to me at a live show. I played a place in Grass Valley, California, where the power went out. And that was pretty much the end of the show. So that was kind of a crazy thing. That's something you don't expect to happen.
Right.
So.
Well, I guess it's time to go home now.
Show's over, yeah. Open the doors and hope everyone doesn't trample over everyone.
Right.
Yeah, but that's about the only thing that's been kind of out of the ordinary, which was pretty out of the ordinary. So,
so what do you do when you're not recording and writing music? What do you do to relax and kind of recharge?
I always play music. I'm sitting here right now in my kitchen, and I'm looking at the couch, and there's a guitar next to it. In the spare bedroom, there's a guitar. Over by the computer, there's a guitar. I'm always playing, always. So there's not much that I do that doesn't include music. If I'm not playing it, I'm listening to it. I never get tired of it. And that's one thing that you and I have in common. We have got a wide, varied taste. So if we get tired of one kind of music for a little while, we can go to something else.
Right.
So that's kind of cool. But yeah, music is pretty much my life. It's what I do daily. If I get in the car, there's got to be something to listen to. You know, I'd go crazy without music. I would.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I mean, I can't play any instruments, so I'm kind of jealous of you. But I definitely can't go a day without listening to music.
Yeah,
I have to listen to, and I have to, some days I find myself listening to the same band over and over again.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You know, I have a truck that I drive, and I'm always listening to music in it. And if I hear like a clunking in the engine or something like that, well, that just means the music has to be louder.
Right.
Yeah. So it hides all the problems with my vehicles.
Okay, so anything else you would like to tell everyone that's going to listen to this interview that I haven't asked you?
If you like metal, you're going to like the BOYCE album, but it's going to take you to different places. You know, it's got different styles. The whole album, I think every song on the album sounds different. I don't think that there's one song that sounds like another. So if you're going to listen to BOYCE, it's going to be diverse. So be prepared.
Very cool. Totally appreciate. So thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Hey, thank you.
Totally cool. I'm not quite done with you yet, though.
Okay.
I got to have some radio tags to play.
Very cool.
So the first one will be a tag for the station.
Okay.
Where this is Greg from BOYCE, and you're listening to RockAddictRadio.com.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Hey, this is Gregory Boyce from BOYCE, and you're listening to RockAddictRadio.com.
Perfect. And then the second one will be for me, so the same thing, but add in there that you're listening to DJ REM at Rock Addict Radio.
All right, very cool. Hey, this is Gregory Boyce from BOYCE, and you're hanging out with DJ REM from RockAddictRadio.com.
Very cool. And then, did Renee have you make any?
I don't think she did.
Okay, well, we better make one for Renee then, and I'll send it to her.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, this is Gregory Boyce from BOYCE, and you're hanging out with Renee on RockAddictRadio.com.
Very cool. I'll send that to her. Because I'll send that generic one, I'll send to all the DJs so they can play it before they play your tunes. And then, obviously, I got to have mine,
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yep. So, totally appreciate it.
Hey, very cool.
I'm going to say goodbye here and cut the recording, but then I'm going to keep you on the line for a minute, okay?
Okay, sounds great.
All right, so thanks again, and we'll be jamming your tunes live on my shows, and like I said, I know the other DJs are jamming your tunes also, so.
Very cool. Hey, I've had a great time. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, man.